Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Marvel Monday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Marvel Legends Series Nemesis Build-A-Figure Waves Cyclops from X Factor. Let's get into it! Let's start things off with a look at the packaging. And here on the top, we've got the bent over peg hook holder, piece of tape, the X logo, Marvel Legends Series. Warning, don't stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there. Build-A-Figure Marvel's Nemesis. Nice big window showcasing the figure and accessories. Cyclops. X-Men, even though it's X Factor. 4 and up. Assortment number if you need that kind of thing. And Hasbro print. On this side, Marvel Legends Series Cyclops. A little bit of that window comes around from the front to this side. And then some nice artwork of Scott. On the bottom, small print, fine print, legalese print, made in China print, symbols I'm not going to learn, and a barcode. Then on this side, Cyclops. And again, some nice artwork of Scott going to work there. Marvel Legends Series on the back. Marvel Legends Series, and again, some nice artwork of Scott, which is this one, but not that one. Cyclops, a leader of the X-Men, Cyclops becomes a founder of a new team called X Factor after being reunited with Jean Grey. And a lot of other stuff was going on too, like he left his wife and child. So there it is again in some other languages. There is the completed Nemesis Build-A-Figure, with numbers here corresponding to the cross sale as to which figure comes with which part. And we have Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Gambit, this figure, Cyclops, Marrow, Husk, and Fabian Cortez. Each sold separately, subject to availability. Attention, especially don't stick things in your French pie hole. Warning, attention, Octoon. Don't stick things in any other language pie hole that do not belong there. Don't give it to babies. Includes figure and 6 accessories. Small, fine, legalese, made in China print, Marvel print, Hasbro print. And that, my friends, is a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And we have handy dandy tweezers standing by in case we need them, which we will. So let's start with the smallest pieces, which is his extra hands, and it's a set, a left and a right. So here we have the dial control for his visor hand, and I'm pretty sure we've seen this before in some other Cyclops. And nice yellow in color, at least it looks yellow to me. I'm colorblind, so don't make fun of handicapped people. In and out hinge, so I think that's appropriate hinge for that as well. And then here we have his other hand, which is kind of a splayed finger, kind of reaching hand, I guess. And nice molded details, so, and molded in that color. So here, next up, we have the new blast effect, or at least one of the new blast effect pieces, and it's where his concussive eye beams are striking something. And it does have a slot in the back of it. You can see there's a little piece right there to help you line up the beam with this piece. And then here's the beam. And this is very similar to something we've seen before. In fact, it may just be retooled to use the striking piece, because we have seen this very similar to this effect at least. And the way that it works is you can see it's got a notch in it right there, and that piece, and you just kind of line them up and press it on there and there. So there you have that. And then his last accessory is his extra portrait, I guess, spare head. And, you know, screaming or yelling, whatever. He's firing his optic blast with this head. And this is the only one that has the slot in it that will fit. But very nice molded details. And I think the colors and the paint, especially the mouth and teeth and stuff, you know, it looks really good. And I can almost see this one being used again on a classic Cyclops. And the way this works, you can see it's got a kind of a post in there, and you just press it in there till you feel it snap, and then he's... And I don't know why they did it, you know, really textured on this side and then really like just flat on that side. I don't, that's a little weird. In my opinion. Your mileage, of course, may vary. Now let's take a look at the figure himself. And I would guess that most of it is made in this blue, and then the yellows are the paint apps, except for maybe... No, that is... maybe the feet and the boot tops. But all the rest of it appears to be a paint app. So, nice molded details throughout. Is this the Vulcan body? I'm not sure which body this is. This one with shoulders. I think it's the Vulcan body, but I'm not swearing to that. So we've got some nice red in here for the visor. A little bit of color maybe for the lips and on the face, some a little bit. Maybe. Maybe not. You can see where they put the paint on here. It's kind of, you know, it's not the best looking. And it's the same over on this side too. Well, that's some paint scraping, and I don't know if you can really see that in the camera. Maybe you can. I hope you can. So, nice looking. So where's our classic Cyclops? At least the one I think of as classic, you know, 60s, 70s, 80s. At least up to, what, 86 when he started wearing this? I think. Maybe it was 84. Might have even been 85. So anyway, somewhere in between 84 and 86, I guess he started wearing this uniform. And then his X Factor uniform, of course, changed several times as well. He had this one, he had the white one with the white X, and then he went back to the yellow, and it had like some kind of strap that went up around his neck. I don't know. Right before he joined back up with the X-Men, and they kicked off X-Men #1, and he changed his uniform again. So let's take a look at his articulation. He looks up that high, and you can see hinge and ball, and there's a lot of range in that, so he can look down that far, so that's really good too. He's got chicken neck. He's got some waggle. It ain't the best, but he's got some. 360 degrees of the Exorcist. At the shoulder, it's on a butterfly, or it has a butterfly joint, and it goes back that far, and you can see how maybe they could have used a little bit of extra paint there. And then it goes forward that high, or that far. And again, you can see where they could use a little extra paint there. 360 degrees of rotation at the shoulder. He can raise his arm up that high, which is past 90, so that's good. Cut at the upper bicep, 360 degrees of rotation there. Double hinged pinless elbow. Gives you that much bend. 360 degrees of rotation at the wrist on an in and out hinge. Standard Marvel Legends ab hinge. Lets him lean back that far. forward that far, but no rocking or anything like that. Straight cut at the waist. 360 degrees of rotation there. No pull downs at the hip shit. But he can give you that much of the splits, so it's not bad, but it ain't great. So he can kick forward that high. Again, he should be able to kick a little higher than that. Not that he's a karate guy or anything. And then maybe a half a step back, half of his step at least. Cut at the upper thigh, 360 degrees of rotation there. And then at the knee, it's a double hinged, pinless, and it gives you that much bend. And then at the mid shin, there's a boot cut, and it does give you a 360 degree rotation there. And at the ankle, tilts down that far, up that far, and forward facing pin for rocker. I don't know why I said it like that. And then just line the X back up. And there you have it, my friends. A look at the figure and his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Marvel Legends Series Nemesis Build-A-Figure Waves X-Factor Cyclops with the Marvel Legends Series X-Men Retro Carded X-Factor Cyclops and the Marvel Legends Series X-Men 97 Cyclops. For our last set of comparisons, here we have the Marvel Legends Series Nemesis Build-A-Figure Waves X-Factor Cyclops, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee from G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander from Star Wars The Black series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper, and for a 7-inch scale comparison from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the Marvel Legends series Nemesis Build-A-Figure Waves X-Factor Cyclops, I have to say that I really enjoyed this look for Scott, like those first X-Factor suits. You know, while they're nothing spectacular, just, you know, suits with big X's on them, and of course, you know, each member is different. So, but I think that's a good look for, you know, all the original X-Men. I think it was a good look for him. But as far as this one goes, I mean, I'm not 100% sure which reuse this is. I think it's the Vulcan body, but I can't remember if Vulcan has that port in his back, but I'm pretty sure that's the body they're using on this. If I'm wrong, somebody will let me know, I'm sure, and that's okay. I don't mind. Just be nice. And you know, the overall look of this Cyclops is good. I like, you know, the different hands that he comes with. They're appropriate hands, and it's not anything new that we haven't seen with the Cyclops before, I don't believe. And then, you know, the alternate head is screaming, but that's okay because that's the one that takes the optic blast effect, which is great. I mean, the beam itself, I think we've seen before, but it's been retooled a little bit to take that hitting effect at the end of it, I guess is the best way I can think of to describe it. You know, it's where the optical beam strikes something, and you know, I think that's a nice addition. It's a little heavy, so it's hard to kind of get Scott in some action poses while using that. So that's a thing. Maybe that's why he has a port in his back. Could be. But again, regardless, the only Cyclops I own currently that beats this one is, I think, the 97 X-Men 97 Cyclops beats this one, and maybe it's because, you know, he had some new pieces made up, and he had that new the ab hinge joint with the, you know, the strap ran around the joint so that it didn't break it. So I thought that was really cool. But, you know, this one didn't have that. Unfortunately, though, when you articulate this guy any which way, you're breaking the lines on the X part of the uniform. But it's an action figure, and that is the nature of the beast when it comes to non-soft goods figures, at least. But I like this one. I'm almost passed on it because I couldn't get my hands on the Target exclusive Jean Grey from X Factor that goes with this one. So I hope that it becomes available again as not an exclusive. That would be fantastic. And in fact, I would like to see the other members of the original X Factor in their first uniforms to go with the Scott. Like, well, Jean they already have, but I hope they reissue her with the proper boots. I know some people have talked about that, and you know, she's not having the proper boots. But yeah, I'd love to see that non-fuzzy beast. They can take that angel mold that they done not long ago and do a repaint in the red and white to go with this. You know, with the X, the white X on the red suit with the white boots, white gloves. That would be great. Bobby, I'm not sure how they would do Iceman. I would actually like to see two versions of Iceman. One iced up with the power inhibitor belt that he had to use because his powers were wonky and they were, you know, too much, so he had to dampen them down a little bit. And I'd also like to see him do his uniced form. I think that would be cool, but I don't know. I think there's mixed feelings on depowered characters, so to speak. I don't think, like Johnny Storm, when he's not flamed on, I don't think he sells as well as the flaming Johnny. But so I would love to get the rest of this X Factor team without it being exclusives, but that's the way it is, I suppose, unfortunately. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I am now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.